Yo guys, how is it going? Tally here, and today I'm going to bring you the ultimate guide to heroes. This video is made for people new to the deck, familiar with the deck, and everyone in between. We're going to break down over the course of 3 parts how the deck functions, the win condition, how it achieves that win condition, all sorts of matchups, all sorts of side decks, tips and tricks, and what you should be considering siding. We're going to look over the deck's strengths and weaknesses, and we are going to look at combos, tricks that you can do in a match to actually consistently beat your opponents. So let's break the deck down. Okay, so as of October 2019, Heroes in its entirety is a fairly competent rogue level going second deck. There's a lot that comes to the rogue aspect of the deck, and there's a lot that helps with the matchups that we will talk about in part 2. So what is the win condition of Heroes? Let's break that down first of all. As we said, the deck goes second and it aims to break boards, and OTK cards in the deck all facilitate this singular win condition of OTKing. The deck is what you would consider quite a glass cannon. It's quite aggressive, but it doesn't have a super good grind game. It just OTKs or it doesn't, and what we try to do is set up as many ways as possible to achieve that OTK. The deck is filled with a lot of searchers, the deck's filled with cards that gain it momentum, the deck's filled with cards that gain it power, in the sense that these are powerful OTK guaranteeing cards. If you can see these cards, it's very unlikely that your opponent will be able to stop you, because you'll have already got that OTK on board. If not, you already have a lot of advantage and you can just go another route to OTK them. If not, the deck can, if you play smart, grind for a couple turns, out-resource your opponent, and then finish them off there and then. It's got some very powerful cards. The Evo Heroes are incredibly powerful. Masked Hero Darklaw is never going to get power crept. And Vision Hero Trinity is a slept-on OTK machine in this meta. So let's break it down. Okay, before we hit the deck breakdown, let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the deck. As a rogue deck, it's got quite a rogue surprise, okay? Meaning that it's got the element of surprise, that your opponent isn't always going to know what to negate and how to combat the deck, and that's when they lose. It's very consistent, okay, with Stratos at free, with Melee at free, with the ability to search your deck in and out, you can very easily get to your win condition. It's also got a lot of room to hate on combo decks specifically. A lot of good cards like Super Polymerization, Nibiru, Infinite Impermanence all fit into the deck very easily, and it allows you to really hate on combo decks. Again, the deck search power allowing you to dig whatever card you want out of your deck at any time is honestly astounding. You've always got an answer, or you're always able to find an answer to most situations, and if you can't, then you side that answer in. And again, the deck has big numbers. The deck's got an incredibly high power ceiling, meaning that you can set up really aggressive boards and OTK consistently. Okay, for the weaknesses of the deck. Unfortunately, any deck that runs Strolling Lockbird or Thunder Dragon Colossus will shut this deck down by and large. Thunder Dragons aren't the biggest problem in the world, because if they set up one and you've got Impermanence, it's not a big deal, but if you don't, you kinda don't play. The deck also has a kind of poor grind game. As we said, it's very much a glass cannon strategy. It wants to OTK, and if it doesn't OTK, the chances of you winning reduce greatly if you don't have Darklaw and Dystopia on board, which you can do, but it's not mega common. Also, this deck kind of loses hard to the vast majority of Floodgates. With there can be only one being so vital in this format for a lot of decks, you kind of lose out to that immediately. And lastly, the deck hasn't got amazing turn 1 plays. It's very much a turn 2 deck. Its turn 1 plays you can always guarantee a Dystopia, but you can't really guarantee much more else. It's all up to the luck of the draw, which I'm not a big fan of, but going second, the deck can do a lot more. But turn 1, okay, so looking at a competitive hero deck, we can see that this deck will take aspects from every single different type of hero, both main deck and extra deck, to get the most competitive bundle that we possibly can. So let's break each individual subsection of heroes down and examine what they do and how they contribute to the win condition of those sweet OTKs. Okay, so breaking down our elemental aspect of our hero deck, the big word I would use for the elemental heroes is consistency. A lot of what the elemental heroes do is to aid you in getting to that win condition more consistently. For example, if we do not know, again this is for people of all skill levels, Stratos is our main searcher of the deck. It is such a famous card that there's an entire subcategory of cards nicknamed after it. The Stratos gets you any hero from your deck. Whereas Shadow Mist, this card also searches any hero if it's dumped to the graveyard. So if you don't have Stratos, but you have Shadow Mist and a way to get it in graveyard, you effectively have a Stratos. What it also does is if it's special summoned, it actually also gets you a Mask Change, again aiding and getting you towards that outcome, that win condition of the OTK. Now we're asking, how does Solid Soldier help us get there? Well, it puts 2 bodies on board, can special summon Shadow Mist, getting us a Mask Change, and it can also special summon your Stratos. Again, just allowing you to spam the board, get a wee bit more advantage, and get your searches popping off. And lastly, you're looking at Onos Neos right there and you're thinking, well, that card doesn't search, but it is a card you search in order to give your opponents a bit of a harder time. It gives you 2500 more attack points, and more often than not that is the deal breaker. That is what seals the deal between you OTKing your opponent, and not that Honest Neos 10 times out of 10 is never a dead card. It's always got some sort of use in aiding and defeating your opponent that little bit quicker as its main use, and again it provides consistency in our OTKs. In terms of the hero spells, it's nice and simple. We have free Emergency Call. People can play anywhere between 2 and 3, especially with Stratos coming back to free. Some people are cutting 1, that's absolutely fine. What you want to do is run as many of this as you feel comfortable. It's a norm once per turn search spell, and gets you any elemental hero, so it can get you your Stratos, your Shadow Mist, your Honest Neos, or your Solid Soldier. And last but not least, in any hero package it's absolutely mandatory to run a Hero Lives. For the cost of half of your life points, you can special summon any elemental hero from your deck, as long, or any level 4 hero from your deck, as long as you do not have a monster on field, which again gets you a free Stratos, which is a free search, or it gets you a free Shadow Mist, which is a free Mask Change. This is all about consistency, and through the elemental hero package we're able to consistently get closer to that win condition. Funnily enough, a lot of the cards that we see are going to be relating to Shadow Mist in some way that help us obtain that OTK. But again, the big word for elemental heroes, the reason that we run them in the deck is consistency. They will very easily get you through your deck, help you deck fin, help you search the monsters that you want to see, so that when you go to OTK, your opponent cannot do anything about it. Okay, next up on our breakdown of hero monsters, we are taking a look at the Destiny heroes, and if there was one word that I could use to describe Destiny heroes, it would absolutely be potential. This package has so much potential, and not like the Red Eyes kind of potential where it ends up in a lot of terrible support. This is probably one of the strongest aspects of the deck. So I have Malicious at 3, which allows us to link climb incredibly well, and it gets a lot of resources out of not a lot of commitment. We have Draw Hand and Dynatag to make our boy Dystopia much more powerful. It can burn for 1600, and it can pop a monster on the field using Dynatag's effect to change its attack points. And then we have Plasma. Plasma is an absolute game winner because once it hits the field, your opponent's effects are negated. It can also suck up a monster, taking some of its attack points and making itself more powerful. Now again, if you've already got Dystopia with different attack points allowing it to pop a card, you can use Dynatag on Plasma to make it even more powerful. Looking at Fusion Destiny, it is possibly the most busted card in the deck, as it not only has a 1 card FTK, but pairing up with literally anything else in the deck to get that link too, you can get yourself a Dystopia and allow your Cross Crusader to abuse Plasma for more searches. So Fusion Destiny is a great extender, it's a great starter, and more importantly, it's a great finisher. And as well, to look at our fusions, we have Dystopia, which is by far the best Destiny hero extra deck monster that you can run for the deck off of Fusion Destiny, because as we mentioned earlier, it can burn for 1600 damage if you use Draw Hand, and if you have Dynatag in graveyard, you give it 1000 extra attack points and it becomes Dryden, able to pop a card during your opponent's turn or your turn, breaking boards and allowing you to OTK. Dangerous is really good because it allows you to abuse Fusion Destiny and Shadow Mist, not only searching yourself a lot of free pluses, but also allowing you to get your Dystopia in the grave to get your link plays going. So yeah, that's the Destiny hero package, and again, by far, it has the most potential. It definitely raises the deck's skill ceiling, gets you to that OTK a little bit easier. Okay, moving on to our Vision heroes, and the word for Vision heroes is momentum. For the cost of 1 hero monster from your hand, literally any hero monster at all, there's a couple of really good targets for it. For the cost of 1 hero monster from your hand, you can special summon Vision Hero Faris. By doing that, you will actually get yourself and nab yourself 2 free bodies on board with either a Shadow Mist or a Malicious in the graveyard and a free Polymerization. How do you do that, you ask? Well, you summon Faris. Faris sets one of these bad boys in the spell and trap zone as a trap, making it spell speed 2. In case you don't know what it means that it can in fact chain 2 monsters. This card can be used to dodge things like Widowmaker, which is less of a threat these days, but it can be used to dodge Infinite Impermanence, it can be used to dodge Effect Veiler. Literally any card that targets, you can use this card to tribute the monster that you're trying to resolve its effect, to then summon this, and when that boy's summoned, he gets out his friend Vion, which fills up a graveyard, banishes a monster from your graveyard, and searches your polymerization. So for the cost of 1 hero monster, which by the way, if that hero monster is Shadow Mist, this and Shadow Mist is a 2-card OTK. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see those combos. And again, once you have your polymerization, you get access to some incredibly powerful, very generic hero monsters. We have Vision Hero Trinity, which is just a big beefy boy. This big beefy boy, when it's summoned, gains 2500 attack points until the end of the turn, making it 5000 attack points, and can attack your opponent's monsters up to 3 times. And just in case you don't have those free heroes, you also have Adoration. What does Adoration do? Well, let me tell you what Adoration does. It's kind of like Underclock Taker, and again, just in case you don't know what that is, it allows you to target another hero monster that you control, and a monster that your opponent controls, and reduce your opponent's monster stats by that hero monster's stats. So if your opponent has a big beefy monster on board, which you would like it to be less beefy and easier to kill, you use Adoration, and then you can combo it with some other heroes, possibly your Destiny heroes, possibly your evil heroes. Evil heroes are especially good for it because that helps you Raigeki your opponent's field. But let's not get rid of their secrets too early. This package brings the deck some incredible momentum, and without the Vision Heroes, the deck is so much slower and quite frankly not competitive in any way, shape or form. But if your opponent allows you to resolve Faris, then they have already lost the game. So this deck needs the Vision Heroes, absolutely brings a whole lot of momentum, and it makes the deck so much faster, and it keeps pace with a lot of today's meta decks. And again, before they know that they've been OTK'd, they're just about to be OTK'd. Alright, now we have our evil heroes, and I'm kinda sorry to say guys that for the most competitive version of heroes, you do kinda need to run the evil heroes. To run a competitive version of heroes, you don't necessarily need them, but to run the most competitive version, you're gonna have to get these, okay? And what they do is they just add another layer to that OTK. They provide a lot of power. And that's the word for evil heroes, because it's very easy to search evil hero Adusted Gold, which instantly pretty much nabs you a Malicious Bane, which once per turn Raigekis your opponent's board and gets stronger for it. Through that, you not only break your opponent's board if they're very monster heavy, but you also bait out things like negates. Now, because Malicious Bane cannot be destroyed by card effects, there's a lot of negate cards that just negate the effect. They don't get rid of your big, beefy, 3k body. And if they don't have negates, then you've just broken your board and you've opened your opponent up for that OTK, because this card is a very powerful card and it gets those OTKs going very easily. Again, in terms of the going second OTK option, the evil heroes pretty much solidify this as a going second rogue strategy. But they're a very simple package. You get Adusted Gold, you discard Adusted Gold to get Dark Calling gets you Malicious Bane, and Malicious Bane gets you that OTK. I don't really have much more to say about that, but it's a very, very, very powerful package. Now moving on to our first extra deck only hero archetype, we are looking at the Masked Heroes. The Masked Heroes provide a great deal of flexibility to the deck, allowing you to try and out-resource your opponent, as in some way, shape or form, all of these cards impact your opponent's resources. Some of them attack the hands, some of them attack the field, some of them allow you to get monsters and cards to your side of the field, allowing you to bring a lot of resources to the game. So the big word for Masked Heroes is flexible. But let's take a look at the Masked Heroes just in case you don't know what these guys are. On our left we have Masked Hero Dark. If you don't know what Darklaw does, let me educate you. Darklaw is a walking macrocosmos, meaning that your opponent, every time they would send a card to the graveyard, doesn't matter how they do it, whether it be an extra deck summon, whether it be discarding, whether it be a Foolish Burial type effect, it would all go to the banished zone instead, which means that your opponents who rely on their graveyard don't have a graveyard to rely on anymore, and it cripples their strategy out and out. Little known effect that people don't use too often is that when your opponent searches, i.e. Sky Striker, when your opponent searches, you will randomly banish a card from their hand once per turn. and it is in fact a soft once per turn, meaning that if you have multiple copies of Darkglaw, you can activate that effect multiple times. But moving on to our other masked heroes, we have Masked Hero Dian, which when it destroys something by battle will summon a level 4 or lower hero monster or elemental hero monster from your deck. Masked Hero Blast, when it's summoned, will decrease a monster's attack in half, but more importantly you can pay 500 life points to return one of your opponent's back row to the hand. And lastly, in the back there we have Masked Hero Anki, which can attack directly by cutting its attack points to 1400, but if it does destroy a monster in battle, it allows you to search this card here. Just in case you don't know what this card is important to the Masked Hero strategy. It's Mask Change. It allows you to get your masked heroes onto the board. Essentially, you target a hero monster, you send it to the graveyard, and you summon a masked hero of the same attribute. So Mask Change, while currently not super searchable, is key to the deck. You always run free. It allows you to dodge targeting effects again in a similar way. It sends the hero that you're trying to resolve to the graveyard, summoning its masked hero counterpart. You can activate this during the battle phase to push for more and more and more damage. Also, using your Mask Change, as we said, you can get Darkglaw into Darkglaw to make sure your opponent's graveyard doesn't fill up at all, and their banish pile gets higher and higher and higher. These are our masked heroes. Again, one day Mask Change will become a lot more searchable, and these masked heroes are going to become a lot more deadly, but at this point in time, they're all perfectly deadly on their own. Again, they provide a lot of flexibility to the deck and allow you to push in different ways and gain different resources to OTK your opponent. Alright guys, last but not least, our final heroes are our extra heroes. Extra heroes are kind of somewhere in between every style of hero. They are the backbones of each deck. What they do is they help out and they get a little more reliability and again a wee bit of consistency. So let's break it down. Our Cross Crusader over here, Monster Reborn's a Destiny hero. It also tributes a Destiny hero to search any hero. It's a key playmaker in the deck, and as long as this goes off, you're probably OTKing. In the event where you get into a resource game, you have Wonder Driver to reuse and recycle your mask changes, your polymerizations. And lastly, we have Dread Decimator, which just looking at it isn't very good. It gives your monsters extra attack points for every different hero monster in the graveyard. But what this actually does, again, facilitating those OTKs, opens up free new monster zones that you can summon fusion monsters into. It makes your Malicious Bane much stronger, so that it can Raigeki more monsters because it has to have more attack points to Raigeki them. It allows your Dystopia to pop a monster during your or your opponent's turn, and again, it makes your Plasma stronger so that it's much harder to destroy. Going for the OTK, this card is actually quite crucial, and when you make that big push, you will in fact have a much more disgusting offensive. Imagine facing down an opponent. You have a Trinity with over 5,000 attack points with an Honest Neos in hand, and you just beat into them and wipe their entire board, dealing over 8,000 damage with ease. And just in case Trinity can't destroy or get rid of that final little bit of their life points, you've got Dread Decimator to clean it up, okay? Because this monster, it says 2,500 attack points, but there's very rarely a situation where you're getting it out but it has any less than 3,000 attack points. So overall, these are the finishing touches on the deck. These are the cherries on top of the sundae. This is the icing on the cake. What these do is they just tie the deck together like a nice, disgusting, angry fecker of a bowl. So guys, that's the hero portion of the deck. But what I'm going to do is just highlight some of the really good generic cards that heroes are able to play. Alright, so for our final look at what's left, what we showed wasn't the entire hero deck, and what this is now is at least 10 flex spots for things like hand traps, for things like super polymerizations, for those meta calls. And again, because we're running Super Poly, Cross Crusader will lock you out of non-hero monsters for the turn, or it'll lock itself out of its own effects for the turn if you summon something that's not a hero. So you just need a generic link to, it can be literally anything, Beat Cop, Land for Incus, Psyframe Lord Lambda, any of that good stuff. I'm actually leaning towards Beat Cop because it can take tokens and Lambda can't, just in case you happen to get Nibiru's. Also, that new Predaplant Link 2 that's coming out, that card looks pretty good. I'm liking that. Anyway guys, what I'm trying to show here is this isn't the way to do it, this is my way of doing it, this is what I personally like. Again, I don't think these cards are going to go out of fashion anytime soon. Combo decks are still popular. These cards, again, may come and go, but what I'm trying to show you is that the deck has a lot of flexibility in what other engines you can run and what other hand traps you can run to break your opponent's board, because these actually still all get you towards that win condition of breaking or not allowing your opponent to make a board. This card breaks boards, this card stops boards, and if you're going up against a predominantly dark deck, Pendulum, Orchist, lots of stuff, well, Super Poly with your Starving Venom is an absolute blowout. So guys, let's take it to the outro. Okay guys, before we head to the outro, just want to say this is the end of part 1. Part 2 is going to be a lot more in-depth about matchups, how the deck gets over certain matchups and how you side effectively against certain matchups. It's going to show you some side deck options. It's not going to be the exact side deck to use, it's just going to be sort of lots of different options that you can use to make your side deck. Alright, but as before, let's head to the outro. Alright guys, that is the end of the video and the end of part 1 of the ultimate guide to Heroes. As always, if you like to give it a like, let's get this video to a cheeky wee 30 likes, and if you loved it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about Team Tally today. If you yourself haven't joined Team Tally, do yourself a favour, subscribe button's down there. As always guys, you have been amazing, I have been Tally. I'll catch you all later. Bye.